How to fit a piston seal in a Range Rover L322 air compressor. Hopefully you'll have watched the previous video which illustrates on removing the necessary pipework and electrical connection together with the metal framework so that you can access the piston and remove the cylinder head. The first job we need to do is to remove the cylinder head bolts. Using a 10mm spanner, you slacken off the cylinder head bolt, remove it all together. Then you need a T30 Torx tool to remove the remaining cylinder head bolt. Once you remove the cylinder head bolt, the cylinder head can now be removed, which then reveals the piston itself. The next job is to remove the actual piston seal by just sprising the old seal until it sort of opens up, and you can actually remove it from the piston head itself. That's the old piston seal removed. At this stage it's worthwhile observing if you have a lot of old piston seal residue, dust all around the piston head and inside the actual crank chamber. It's a good idea to clean out all the dust. You can use an air line to blow the dust out, and also I use some brake and parts cleaner by spraying the piston head and cleaning all the piston head assembly. If you are feeling pretty adventurous, you can actually remove the actual front cover, which is a good idea. It's only riveted on by four rivets, so what you can do, you can use a cordless screwdriver and you can drill out these rivets. I've just prepared the rivets just for demonstration. So once you've removed the rivets, you can then remove the cover and gasket. And as you can see, it's quite dusty in there, so you can then get a cloth, place a cloth underneath the compressor, and using parts cleaner you can actually spray the parts cleaner inside the chamber, which removes the bulk of the dust. Always angle the motor downwards, because there is a little vent hole inside, so as you're spraying the parts cleaner, the actual cleaning agent doesn't go back into the motor. So just keep the compressor angled downwards and spray all the piston head until all the dust is removed. Be very careful not to bend this exhaust shim. You then get your new seal supplied in the kit, and on the piston head itself there is a little location pin. Make sure you locate the pin in the correct position on the piston seal, which is with this slot like so. So basically you sprise the seal over the piston head and then you locate the piston seal so you can observe the actual pin in the piston head The next step is to get the special lubricant in the kit and just smear a light coating of the special lubricant around the circumference of the newly fitted piston seal. This will help the seal bed in on the first startup of the compressor. The next stage is to refit the cylinder. Is to check the condition of the cylinder bore itself. Now, sometimes you get a little bit of wear inside the actual cylinder. If it's badly scored and the actual coating of the cylinder has been removed, then this will affect the longevity of the newly fitted piston seal. If there's only slight wear and the coating is still visible in the piston liner, then you will have some success in the performance of the piston seal. So make sure there is no dust, from the piston seal, the old piston seal. Clean out the bore. Then you need to fit the actual O-ring, so you can remove the O-ring from the cylinder head. I'll just get a proper screwdriver. Fit the new O-ring in the position like so, and now you need to position the cylinder back onto the piston head itself. So you locate the mounting bolt spigot and then make sure that the piston seal locates in the bore correctly, and then slide the piston cylinder onto the piston head. It's now time to refit the cylinder head bolts. It's a good idea to put a little bit of Loctite on this bolt for added security. Also fit the 6mm nut. When tightening these two bolts, tighten them evenly, a little bit at a time. And that's your piston seal fitted. If you actually removed the faceplate, then clean up the faceplate, remove any dust in the cover, clean up the gasket, and then replace it on the housing like so. And with your 3mm rivets, place all the rivets back in the cover. And using a rivet gun, rivet the cover back securely. And that is your piston seal fitted. The next stage would be to fit all the pipework and the metal framework back onto the compressor, and then you actually fit that back into the housing. If you watch the first video, it's basically the reversal of the disassembly process.